Peace and love, family. Welcome to another Black African Power lecture series. Tonight, family, I have in the building the God Killer, Bobby West, Ankh Ket, Brother Ankh. He's in the building, family, tonight to talk about the flat earth theory debunked. And you already know, family, that he had a big, I wouldn't say it was big because it was a slaughter to him, right? But he did have a debate, family, probably maybe like less than a month ago. He had a debate with Brother Sanchez. Shout out to Brother Sanchez. And so they were debating whether the earth was flat or not. And, Ankh came in there, guns blazing. And so, in my opinion, it was a total slaughter. And that's what the community is saying. I'm not sure if Brother Sanchez wants to debate again, but I'm sure if he does, Brother Ankh is for it. Family, take a moment right now to thumb up this video. Tonight, Brother Ankh is going to be dropping a lot of powerful information. Also, family, make sure that you share this discussion. I'm going to my Facebook right now. I'm on my Facebook right now. Share this discussion. Let's each one teach one. And in the 21st century, all we got to do is just hit a button. And before you know it, it's everywhere, right? So let's each one teach one. Family, let's spread the word. Also, family, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, be sure to hit on over to dr.maat.msu on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so that whenever I go live, you will be notified, right? And also, family, if you've already have subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure that you go back and figure out if you're still subscribed, right? Because I've been hearing that YouTube has been unsubscribing folks, and I didn't know that was a real thing until it happened to me, right? So there were other YouTubers who used to complain about it, and then once my YouTube channel started growing, people have been saying the same thing about my channel. And so make sure that you're still subscribed, and if you're not, make sure that you resubscribe. Family, right now you're looking at the UACI, the Uhuru Academy Conscious Ingenuity Summer STEM Camp of 2023. Family, make sure that you get your babies enrolled ASAP. Hold on, let me share the link so I can drop it in the chat. All right. And so this camp is going to start on July the 10th and operate from July the 10th to July the 21st. All right. And family, myself and Baba, we're going to be going all the way in with the babies. Your babies will be on with us from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The first hour and a half, they're going to be talking about STEM history. Okay. So our history as it relates to STEM. So our contributions to the establishment and expansion of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And then your child will be on with me for 2 hours. My instructors and I, it's not just going to be me. It's going to be like me and like 2 other instructors. We will be going through cybersecurity. So we'll cover some cybersecurity concepts with your babies, artificial intelligence, and also machine learning, and a little bit of coding. So family, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Make sure, family. I'm dropping the link in the chat right now. Make sure that you get your babies enrolled in this STEM camp ASAP. Also, family, I'm trying to share my window. Hold on, I got a few announcements. I'm trying to see what else. Here we go. This is Brother Ankh. So tonight, family, we will be talking about the flat earth theory debunked. That's tonight at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, family, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us for another discussion, Evolution, the Key to Understanding Our Origins. Ashe? So make sure, family, that you're in the building. And my last announcement, family, is make sure you join your girl on a trip to Ghana. I'm going to Ghana with Insa Creations, Explorations. Okay, March the 10th through the 24th. Hold on, let me make sure I got the date. I'm sorry, March the 15th through the 26th. So I butchered that. All right. And so, family, make sure that you come to Ghana with me. And I promise you that I'm not coordinating this, right? I didn't butcher the dates, but this is from March the 15th to March the 26th. I will be in Ghana with Insa Creations, and we're going to have a good time in Ghana, reconnecting with our brothers and sisters on the continent and exploring, reconnecting, learning, exploring. I'll also be over there with one of my conscious ingenuity instructors. We will be deploying the conscious ingenuity program at 2 schools, one in Accra and the other one in Cape Coast, Ashe. So family, make sure that if you are able to, that you come to Ghana with me. All you have to do is send an email to NSAA creation, and I'm typing this as I speak, at gmail.com, and let her know that you want to go to Ghana with Dr. Maat, let her know you want to come to Ghana with me. The deposit is $500. I repeat, the deposit is only $500. You see, the total is $4,500. And some of you may say, "Oh my gosh, $4,500, Doc, that's a lot of money." Well, when you factor in ticket, right? Direct flight over and back, which is going to be roughly between $1,000 and $1,700, and then for you figure for 12 days, 11 days, you don't have to worry about lodging everywhere you go, lodging, transportation, entrance into different places, even food, breakfast and dinner is going to be served. So the sister's not making a whole, she's not making hardly any money off of this trip. She's really doing this to give our people an experience. So family, make sure, and we'll be staying in all the fine establishments, okay, owned by Ghanaians, Ashe. So family, make sure that you get your $500, that you put it down, reach out to the sister, let her know that you want to join. All right, family. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my brother Ankh Cat. Peace and love to you, brother. How are you, brother Ankh Cat?
What's going on, sis? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I can't complain. I'm excited about this presentation. You killed the daggone debate. And what was that, like a month ago, brother Ankh?
Yeah, it was like a month ago.
You
I think it
killed
was.
it. You killed it. I mean, like it was what they say by a landslide. like you
Exactly
killed
what it was.
like you killed
Exactly.
it. And shout out to brother Sanchez. Are you all going to do another one, a part 2, or was that just it?
Well, it's supposed to be like a two-series debate. One on the Earth, uh, the Earth. I refuse to call it the flat Earth. There's no such thing. Called
Right.
the flat. So we took care of that commitment, and then we were supposed to go ahead and get into the debate about evolution. That's like one of my favorite subjects. And so but I don't know, man. That first one was so easy, but everybody enjoyed it though. But like I say, science is undefeated, but that's on the horizon. Somebody, so I'm taking on challenges with any information against science. We dedicated to scientific literacy. You know what,
Absolutely.
Doc? I don't think my mic is actually hooked up to the live stream.
Well, it's
Anyway,
working. I hear you loud and clear. I hear you through your mic. I don't hear you through your computer.
okay, all right. Well, let me get up. I know
Yeah,
you
you,
wouldn't lie to me.
yeah. I hear you. Like how you could tell when somebody is speaking through their desktop or
Oh,
laptop
all right.
versus
So you can
a
hear the
mic.
mic. Okay.
Yeah, your mic is fine. And so, family, right now, I want you all to let's send Brother Arcacat, a donation. I call it a love donation. He's going to drop some information tonight. And so, family, right now, take your cell phones out. I have mine out right now. Okay, mine's out right now. Brother Ankh, I want you to confirm to the people because they say, well, she asking me to cash app him. She ain't cash app him. Hold on, I'm getting ready to send a donation for his time. A lot of people don't understand, brother Unc. When we do this work, I mean, we're doing this. I mean, this is time taken away from our families, right? This is time taken away from our families. This takes time and energy to put this stuff together, and I don't think sometimes our brothers and sisters understand that. And so I always believe in giving, especially when I'm able to. I'm up here right now, brother Unc. Here you go, brother Unc. Cat. There it is. I'm going to put BAP lecture part 1 in the caption.
Yeah. Hey, Doc. Yeah, I can't really hear you through the earphones. I don't think it's hooked up.
Your mic is fine. What I'm saying to you is your microphone is fine,
My
but it's you.
earphones not though.
Okay, so do you just want to unplug your earphones?
No, no. I ain't gonna, it's gonna. I ain't gonna wait ahead. You can't just put me down in the thing real quick. That's gonna mess you up.
What do you mean put you down in a
Let
thing?
me let me get out of this so I can see that I can't actually see the screen.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it because you're getting ready to have the floor on for a whole hour. So I'm not even going to be talking to you. So you'll be talking in the next 2 minutes. Okay. You can't hear me?
Nope.
You just said no. You just responded. All I'm saying is just start talking. You have your screen up, right?
Yeah, I want to put my screen down so I can see the settings. I can't see the settings.
Right. But what I'm saying is you don't even have to worry about that for the next hour because you're getting ready to present. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
Okay.
no,
All
it
right.
don't. It makes sense to you.
All right. All
So
right.
that's all.
All right. So let's rock and roll. Family, right now, please take a moment out to Cash App him. I'm just sending him a Cash App. Okay. And I'm getting ready to show you what I sent. So you say, oh, Dr. Maat sending. Yes. Dr. Maat sent the Cash App. We see that? So I'm asking right now, family, that you join me. You don't have to Cash App as much as I cashed app, right? But at least take a moment, our family, to send the brother a donation. All right? All right. And his Cash App is on the screen. Brother Ankh, without further ado, you have the floor. The floor is yours. And we do see your screen. We see the first screen.
And
I'm getting ready to mute my mic. Go ahead.
one sec, Doc. And then I got like make a transition because I got like a prezi too.
Your presentation is up.
No. I got what I did was I had like two. I got like two presentations. Like one is a prezi when I get into a specific area of the nebula hypothesis is dope. You know what I'm
Oh, that's
saying?
cool. That's cool. So then you stop sharing the screen. You start sharing that. I'll add it to the screen. Okay.
All
It's no
right, okay.
problem. You have the
All
floor.
right. Okay. All right. So, appreciate you for bringing me through, Doc. I seen that Cash App too, Doc. Appreciate that. So first, what I want to do, I want to just go for before I go to the screen. The discussion is always going to be a high level conversation, and in high level conversation, you present sources, you present information that will be uh, conducive for colleges, universities, and science. Very, very important for us to be able to kind of put that kind of thing together in our community. And so we kind of differ with these things. So I want to come to Neil deGrasse work real quick. And y'all should get this work. It's entitled uh, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. A lot of times we don't have enough time in the day to actually read a book, but you can always get the downloaded version and listen to it on the Audible. Okay. I like to do a little both. I like a little video when I'm learning. I like to do a little reading, and I also like to some audio. So that might help we all learn because being scientifically literate is is a vaccine to the charlatans that will come amongst us. So people are always trying to trick us, right? So that we can be clear in what we're doing in our lives, we will make sure that we're scientifically literate and financially literate. That's important. So if you go to chapter 8, Neil deGrasse says this. It's called On Being Round. Apart from crystals and broken rocks, not much else in the cosmos naturally comes with sharp angles. While many objects have peculiar shapes, the list of round things are particularly endless and range from simple soap bubbles to the entire observable universe. Of all shapes, spheres are favored by the action of simple physical laws. So prevalent is this tendency that often we assume something is spherical in the mental experiment just to glean basic insight, even when we know that the object is decidedly non spherical. In short, if you do not understand the spherical case, then you cannot claim to understand the basic physics of the object. Man, that hits home. So when you hear people in the community talking about the flat earth this, flat earth that, you let them know that actually they do not understand the physics of that particular object that they're talking about. And so the purpose of this discussion is to establish working definitions. Most time we don't have time to understand the language of science. Science has a language unto itself. So things in the normal workday or the normal family, business, neighbors, that mean one thing, and science, it could completely mean something totally different. So what is science and the scientific method? How do we understand natural phenomenon? Dismantle anti-intellectualism, science denial, and conspiracy theories. We're always faced with this. TikTok, YouTube, they keep us bombarded with anti-intellectualism. Okay, so this was something that was actually presented in Shantaz in his own words. He actually made the statement right here. Let me do this.
A force that, right, when I introduce a force into space, space will turn whatever I introduce into it into this. So if I put sand in space, I'm gonna get a sand planet. If I put gas in space, everything in space implode toward the central core of itself and become a sphere where everything, you see what I'm saying? If I threw a bunch of trash in space, you'll get a trash planet in the form of a sphere. This is what space does to things. So what I'm telling you, if space is doing this to things, is acting like a vacuum.
So space is a vacuum. Sometimes people talk so much that they become a walking contradiction. Space is a vacuum because it's empty. Things in the universe are made spherical based off of the natural laws of physics. You know what we say around here? A pseudo always dies at its source. So he actually puts this source up right here, USGS Gov, right? Trying to be funny, but he actually proves the point.
A force.
What is science? Science is a systematic endeavor that builds and organizes knowledge in the form of testable explanations and predictions about the universe. The highest level in science is the prediction because science has prediction power to predict something before it actually occurs. What is the scientific method? The scientific method is an ongoing process. You make an observation, think of interesting questions. You know, why does this pattern occur? Why does this happen? Formulate a hypothesis. What are the general causes of the phenomenon I'm wondering about? You have to develop a testable prediction. If my hypothesis is correct, then I expect what? A, B, C, or D. Gather the data, test the prediction, right? Uh, Relevant data can come from literature, new observations, or formal experiments through tests, though testing requires replication to verify results. This is important. So if you're not getting the desired result, right, you go and what? You refine, alter, expand, and reject the hypothesis, right? But if not, you can keep going and develop a general theory. And you can continue this process. It's an ongoing process. And I think this is important to know because this is not just an educated guess. In science, right, the scientific method actually brings us to theories. What's a fact? We talking about a scientific fact. Fact in science, an observation that has been repeatedly confirmed and for all practical purposes is accepted as true. Truth in science, however, is never final. See, it's hard for us to get around that. It's hard for us to wrap our brain around that, right? Science is counterintuitive. And what is accepted as a fact today may be modified or even discarded tomorrow. Well, you know, we have been so captivated by religion that statement right there is so off the charts and counterintuitive that most people won't even get it. But I thought you said it was a fact, so it must have been wrong from the start. I could just hear that. Scientific hypothesis, an hypothesis, a statement about the natural world leading to principles that can be tested. If verified, the hypothesis is considered correct. If the principles are incorrect, the original hypothesis is proved false and must be abandoned or modified. So, like when we doing our religious thing, we can be proven wrong, but we don't modify it. We just go ahead and continue along that road. It's a mode of thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Man, shout out to the pseudo killers, man. Scientific law, or laws of science are statements based on repeated experiments or observations that describe or predict a range of natural phenomena. Newton's law, universal gravity, ladies and gentlemen, it's a formula. Scientific theory. Now, most people mess this up. In science, a well-substantiated explanation of some aspect of the natural world that can incorporate facts, laws, inferences, and tested hypotheses. On the right-hand side, we see the theory of evolution by natural selection. That'll be my next showcase I will bring you tomorrow. Make sure y'all tune in. You see, I always have a source with it, the National Center for Science Education. We want to always have a spot that you can go to and just learn. It's important. Shout out to Dr. Oyama for giving me this time to actually put this work together, man, and her tireless work in the field of STEM, raising them babies right. Now, scientific theory versus scientific law. On the left-hand side, scientific theory. Look, explains why phenomenon occurs. Scientific law describes what phenomenon happened, and then in the middle, they merge. It is repeated, successful predictions. Scientific theories explain why something happens, whereas scientific law describes what happens. Man, how the heck? I don't know how I did that. All right. Flat crash hypothesis. The only way I can figure that the Earth got flat is that some kind of distant spacecraft ran off the GPS system and crashed into the Earth and chopped it in half. That's the only way I can figure out it would have got flat. But yet they say these types of things over and over again, and we are susceptible to beliefs, and we believe it. The importance of peer review. Peer review involves subjecting the author's scholarly work and research, right, to scrutiny of other experts in the same field, checks validity, and evaluate its susceptibility for publication. It's important for your peers to review your work. So, like, for instance, if a scientist puts out a work, he just can't say, this is what it is, and that's it. The community works that way, where we'll have people that present information and we'll ask them, so like, where'd you get that from? What value does it have? Have your peers checked it? No, it's just their own ideas that have not been checked. So science has a system, and one of the systems in place is peer review. Scientists subject their work to a journal. Shout out to Dr. Oyama, man. Man, I seen that paper she had. She got an award for that. I just want to say shout out to you for that. That work was peer reviewed, though. See, that's the measure, that's the level. Why the tools of science are important. Science establishes working models. Science provides the best tools to analyze empirical data. Claims must be falsifiable. Science creates tangible byproducts. Technology and engineering. Science is multidisciplinary. That part right there about byproducts. What byproduct does having a flat earth produce? Nothing. That's how you can know it's pseudoscience, because it creates no byproducts. It's really a conspiracy. So we need to know the difference between science and conspiracies. And so a conspiracy theory is an explanation for an event or situation that asserts the existence of a conspiracy by powerful and sinister groups, often political in motivation, when other explanations are more probable, right? So you got the moon hoax, or they didn't go to the moon. You got the 5G. We all heard them talk about that. And we talked about the chemtrails. And of course, there were people in our community that denied the vaccine. How do we understand the natural phenomenon? Many of the laws that govern the natural world are universal. This is important, y'all. I'm gonna say this again. Many of the laws that govern the universe, that govern the natural world, are universal, meaning they behave the same way everywhere throughout the known universe when conditions are similar. So the question is asked, right? What laws in play in the solar system that would make the Earth flat as opposed to the rest of the planets? We got the 4 terrestrial planets and we got the 4 gas planets. Why would Earth be flat? What phenomenon is occurring that would not affect the rest of the planets, but would affect the Earth? Remember, we said that given the same conditions, these phenomena will act the same way. So we already know that ain't no way for the Earth to be flat based off of the rest of the celestial objects floating around the sun are not being flat. It absolutely makes no sense. But if we're not educated in the ways of science and scientific literacy, then we can be tricked and we can be fooled and we don't even know to ask the right question. So the question is, why would the Earth be flat and the rest of the planets not? It makes no sense. So let me move forward. Doc, can I move to the next? I want to get you the...
Please do.
All right, let me see. I'm going to come out of this real quick. All right. Come out of this. And all right. Let me share the screen. I got to get that off.
All right. I see it. Yep.
So we want to talk about the nebula hypothesis. We've already covered what a hypothesis is. Let's see how the solar system came into being. Step 1. The nebula collapses. The force of gravity makes the nebula push in until it collapses. Step 2. The nebula rotates. The nebula begins to spin. While it spins, it flattens out and widens. Step 3. The star is made. The temperature of the nebula, along with the pressures, increases. The temperature rises so high that the nuclear fusion happens. This makes a star. Step 4. Planetesimals are made. Leftover pieces of ice, gases, and rocks called cosmic dust get pulled together by gravity, which form planetesimals. Step 4. Planets are formed. The planets closer to the star form out of rock and ice. The gases are lighter, closer to the sun, so
the gravity is not strong enough to hold on to them. The outer planets, which are further from the sun, have a lack of heat, which is easier for gravity to hold on to the gases. And we see the planets, and we talk about the four giant gas planets: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And we talk about the four terrestrial planets: Mars, Earth, Venus, Mercury. You see how big that sun is? Matter of fact, Earth looks small, but you can't even begin to imagine how large the Earth is. You have no idea how large the Earth is. You can't even imagine. Based off the evolutionary process, our minds weren't even designed to even understand that the planet is moving, feel it moving, let alone know how big it is. And we get back to the presentation. Okay, so real fast, I want to talk about the four fundamental forces. Most people don't know this, but that's okay. Talking about the four fundamental forces. All right, I'll do that. Talking about gravity. Okay. Add motion to the universe. All right. Talking about strong nuclear forces, binding proteins and atomic nuclei. Electromagnetic force and weak nuclear force. These are the four fundamental forces. And so science seeks to explain how the four fundamental forces react on Earth. So real fast, we just want to talk about the Big Bang model just for a minute here. And it's important for our community to kind of get a grasp, right? We've been religionized, and everything the way we see it has to be religion. But in truth, you can have your religion but still understand how the natural world reacts. It's really not in contrast to it. You just would have to be able to separate the two. So you can go have your religion on one hand, and then you can actually understand how the cosmos came into being. And this is for the parents out there. You should always give your children the natural explanation of the world. And then when you're teaching your religion, then teach your religion. But always give them the truth. Like, you just got to give them the truth, because human beings understand how the universe came into being. And they call it the Big Bang Theory. Okay? Explaining the universe, the cosmic microwave background, the CMB, and the distributions of matter throughout the universe are all evidence that support the Big Bang. The periodic table of elements. The chemical periodic table of elements. The periodic table showing the cosmological origin of each element. So you see the different colors, and you see those numbers. So watch this. If you look at the Big Bang fusion up in the left-hand corner, it's blue, right? And you'll see that, so what was created at the Big Bang fusion? Hydrogen, one hydrogen and two helium. See that? Just look for the blue color, you'll see it. So at the Big Bang fusion, and we talked about fusion, suns. Remember that? Talk about fusion is when atoms fuse together. Okay? So, but the Big Bang fusion, right, produced what? Hydrogen and helium. And then we go to cosmic ray fusion. Look at the colors, and you'll see the different elements that was produced because of that. You'll get the dying low mass stars, and you see the elements that was produced with that. You see the emerging neutron stars, purple. These are the different elements that was formed with that. Exploding white dwarfs. These are the elements in gray that was formed based off of that. Exploding massive stars. And human synthesis. no stable isotopes. You take your time and let that marinate for a minute. Basic. Don't sing basic, but it's basic. And these are the steps to getting to where we are now. Understanding the elements. Who knew life was chemical? We already talked about the nebula hypothesis. No need to go back into that again. And I showed you that. I just kind of wanted to just go back so you just see it again. Y'all can go ahead and rewind the tape and get the whole point. But the nebula hypothesis is talking about the formulation of the solar system. The Big Bang is talking about the formulation of the cosmos. So just real quick, the two types of planets in our solar system. How many knew it was two types? Terrestrial planets. Terrestrial means Earth-like. Are the 4 planets of the inner solar system: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. These planets are relatively small and dense with rocky surfaces and an abundance of metals in their cores. Jovian planets. Jovian planets, Jovian means Jupiter-like, are the 4 large planets of the outer solar system: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Jovian planets are much larger in size and lower in average density than the terrestrial planets, and they have rings and many moons. That's the basic right there that we need to know before we run across people trying to talk about how flat the Earth is. That's a scaled up model of our solar system. So, how do we study the size and shape of the Earth? Geodesy and geology. Geodesy, the study of rocks and the physical processes of the Earth in order to understand its origin and history. Geodesy.
Ankh, it sounds really, really low. The
All right.
audio, yeah. I don't. When you shared your screen, are you sharing the audio as well? Because it sounds really low.
All right, let's see.
A long time ago,
Much better.
All right.
in ancient Egypt, a clever human named Eratosthenes figured out that when the sun was directly above a deep well in one city, you could stand in a nearby city to the north, measure the angle of the shadows there, and multiply that by the distance between the two cities to get the distance around the entire Earth. With that, the science of geodesy was born.
So they already did that in Egypt. They measured the size and shape of the Earth. Already done. Now, remember, I talked about the byproduct. So, what is the byproduct of measuring the size and shape of the Earth? What's the residual? Based off of that, humans was able to do what? Let's see.
I can't hear anything if something's playing.
All right, hold on.
Where they are going.
You can
Yeah,
hear
that's
that?
better. Yeah, that's much better.
All right, hold on. Well, I wonder why it's doing that. All right, hold on. Let me go back.
Around the entire Earth. With that, the science of geodesy was born. Geodesy deals with the measurement and representation of the Earth, or to put it more simply, it's the science of where things are, and just as importantly, where they have been and where they are going. Through geodesy, we learn the rough size and shape of the Earth, the direction of its rotation, its distance from the Sun, and more. Through triangulation, we could create detailed maps of entire countries. We even figured out that the Earth.
So, what's the residual? They could actually create detailed maps. How important are maps? How important are detailed maps on planet Earth? Well, the residual for understanding the size and shape of it is the ability to create detailed maps.
Earth isn't quite a perfect sphere, and after some arguments and expeditions to Lapland and Peru, we measured that it's just a bit thicker in the middle. Building on this information, we found tons of practical uses for geodesy. Using stars as reference points and accurate watches, we could reliably determine latitude and longitude so that ships could cross giant oceans to get where they needed to go. Explorers visited uncharted regions.
How important is it for ships to go back and forth? You got a lot of trade goods to come back and forth across the water. They will be routinely lost if they did not understand the size and shape of the earth.
Mapped them, and even found the tallest mountain in the world. Later, engineers built railroads to get us to all of these places. With a little math and the same reference surface, rail tunnels could be started on both sides of a mountain and somehow still meet in the middle. Life was good.
So y'all see that right there. That means if they didn't understand the size and shape of the earth, they wouldn't be able to start on one side of a mountain and be on the other side of the mountain and meet in the daggone middle. They would miss. If you tried to use the flat earth, you would actually miss. You couldn't pull this off. I know it seems simple, but it's actually not, being on one side of a great mountain and then boring a tunnel through it and make the two sides meet. We talked about the residual.
And once we invented radio telescopes and satellites, things got even better. When scientists used a bunch of small radio dishes like one big one to look at quasars, somebody got the idea that you could use these measurements to determine very accurately the distance between the telescopes. Now we can look at the movement of the Earth's crust, changes in how long days are, and how the Earth wobbles on its axis. Satellites also became very important. By analyzing their orbits, we can learn about our planet's changing size and shape and gravity. And by making laser measurements, we can look at everything from changes in the height and shape of the oceans and ice sheets to how the tides work. So, from ancient Egypt to the hundreds of satellites in orbit today, geodesy continues to have a huge impact on our lives. And all because somebody, a long time ago, decided to look down a well.
Yeah, who knew though? Who knew how wild it was to act like the earth was flat and how many things would be missing if it was flat? Who knew how many things that understanding the size of the shape of the earth is actually affects our daily life? We didn't know that. Now we know. So the next time somebody try to act like the earth is flat, you tell them, why you're using a GPS system then? Why are you going to work using a GPS system? Why are you taking trips using GPS systems? Why are you ordering products and goods from overseas? They wouldn't get here because the ships would get lost. Funny. Gravity and its role in the formation of the earth. Gravitational effects on earth. Everyone has observed the effects of gravity as it causes objects to fall downward. Remember, gravity pushes everything down to center mass. The flat earth. Science or pseudoscience. It's pseudoscience. Remember, we talked about dealing with anti-intellectualism. Science denial. How is it that America has the most extensive and largest science program on planet Earth, but half of the people that live in the United States are science denials? How so? And you know, if other communities are science denials, then we have an even larger problem with understanding science and denying it. We've seen it happen during the pandemic. We've seen a lot of groups that were supposedly tested and proven for Black people fell apart. They practiced anti-intellectualism and they all denied science. And they all rejection of qualified experts, misinformation. Claims lack falsibility, misuse of scientific method. Here's 2 books on the subject. The War on Science, Who's Waging It, Why It Matters, What We Can Do About It, Sean Otto. The Death of Expertise, The Campaign Against Established Knowledge and Why It Matters, Tom Nicholas. Conspiracy Theories, an attempt to explain harmful or tragic events as a result of the actions of a small, powerful group. Such explanations reject accepted narratives surrounding those events. Indeed, the official version may be seen as further proof of the conspiracy. Man. Get the book Escaping the Rabbit Hole. How to Debunk Conspiracy Theories Using Facts, Logics, and Respect. Find it very, very interesting that our community can be engulfed in conspiracy theories. But it's not just our community, it's planet Earth in general. And for us to be able to move forward as a community and be successful because we are in the space age, we should fight hard to be space age Africans. Shout out to the Space Age African Astronomy Club. This one of them dr.maat slides right here. She had a doctor come in and actually kind of talk about this misinformation. Matter of fact, this is one of her slides. Bloom's taxonomy. Shout out to Doc. What is Bloom's taxonomy? Basically, a lot of people you're listening to on YouTube and TikTok, they're just remembering things. They're just recalling facts and basic concepts. Define, duplicate, list, memorize, repeat, and just state. But that's the lowest level. But we think that's the highest level. But in actuality, we talked about the high level conversation. The high level conversation would be you could get to the point where you understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create something. What are we trying to create? We're trying to create an environment. We're trying to create things that will push our community forward. Is this not why we're here? Is this not what we're doing? At least I thought it was. I know that's why Doc is here. I know that's why I'm here. I'm not here just to sprout off a whole lot of facts that I remembered. Listen to some video. Not here for that. I'm here to move the community forward. So guess what? You can tell the group you part of, right, if they give you something that can move you forward. Or if you're part of a group that only the leader of that group can use, then you know you're in a cult. Should I slow it down for you? You can pretty much tell where you at. If you're in a group that promotes information that the community can actually use, or if you're promoting information that only the person, the leader of that group, can use and benefit from. So understand, explain ideas or concepts, classify, describe, discuss, explain, identify, locate, recognize, report, select, translate. Most of them can't even get that far. How about applying it? Use information in new situations. Nope, they can't do it. Execute, implement, solve, use, analyze, draw connections amongst ideas. Nope, they definitely not doing that. Because if they would have analyzed the data during the pandemic, they would have made sure that the community was vaccinated and understood exactly what was going on, but they was unable to analyze the data. And that's how we knew that most of them were charlatans. That the people who claimed to be leaders were charlatans because they was unable to analyze the daggone data. How about evaluate it? They sure enough couldn't evaluate it, justify, and stand or decision, argue, defend, judge. They did a lot of arguing, they did a lot of defending, but they sure enough couldn't do a critique, and they sure enough couldn't wear it out. They really couldn't evaluate it. And we know they didn't create anything that could actually help us during the pandemic. They say go eat some vitamins and vegetables. And they definitely couldn't produce something new. Man, Bloom's taxonomy. Buoyancy, density, Bloom vacuum. Let me see what this is right here. Oh, man. Yeah.
For example, if you want to prove gravity right now, right? We're like Neil deGrasse Tyson, which is a high-paid scientist, right? He's proving gravity to the flat earthers here. Like, look, flat earthers. And right, that's science, that's scientific theory, right? Because gravity is explaining why the mic is dropping. But ask Neil deGrasse Tyson why the helium balloon is rising. My point was this right here. It ain't that the theory of gravity is right. It's that the law of density can't never fail. That the microphone is heavier than the air around it, like I said, right? In the law of density, if you need a medium first. In our case, we're inside of an air terrarium. And when we drop things in this thing, if it's not lighter than the air, they float up like helium and stuff like that, like a feather might would do. But it is, so my thing is heavy things is going to always sink if they heavier than the medium they're in. A rock, you drop a rock in the water, it'll sink, but a bubble will float up because the air is lighter than the water that it's in. So this is the law of density never failing. Some people can say, well, that pebble fell because the earth pulled it to the ground with gravity. The earth is pulling everything toward the core. Well, why is the earth letting the helium balloon get away? Gravity has holes in it.
So they actually got an experiment. University of California, Santa Cruz, right? Let me see. Oh, man, what happened to that?
For example, if...
Okay. They actually did the whole helium balloon experiment. This demonstrates and shows, okay, principles of applied gases. Let's see. We got balloon 1, Archimedes principle. We got figure 1, balloon filled with enough helium to float in the air. Figure 2, vacuum is created and the helium-filled balloon sinks. It says, in this part of the demonstration, the balloon is filled with helium and it is placed in a bell jar, which contains air. The helium balloon will float in this environment since helium is lighter than air. This is shown in figure 5. The buoyancy forces acting on the helium balloon due to the air will be greater than the weight of the helium balloon. When the vacuum is created, the air is taken out of the bell jar. This leaves only the helium balloon inside the bell jar. Since there is no buoyancy force acting on the helium balloon, there is only the force of gravity, which causes the helium balloon to sink. Y'all get that? So basically, you heard what Sanchez said. He was saying, if it was gravity, why does the balloon rise? That's his point. He said it's the forces of buoyancy. Well, if you take the forces of buoyancy out, then the question is, why does the balloon stop rising and fall? This is a great experiment right here. This actually proves everything he was saying was hogwash.
This is NASA's Space Power Facility near Cleveland, Ohio, and it is the world's biggest vacuum chamber. It's used to test spacecraft in the conditions of outer space, and it does that by pumping out the 30 tons of air in this chamber until there are about 2 grams left. So this thing can take the force that's present on the outside when it's pumped out to the conditions of outer space.
So basically what they're going to do is they're going to make a void. They're going to take all the air out of that. All right. They're going to create that environment and watch what happens.
Galileo's experiment was simple. He took a heavy object and a light one and dropped them at the same time to see which fell fastest. Now, in this case, the feathers fell to the ground at a slower rate than the bowling ball because of air resistance. So, in order to see the true nature of gravity, we have to remove the air.
So remember, this experiment is proving gravity. Flat earthers will always tell you there is no such thing as gravity. But how? They're going to prove it. Now, if it's gravity, when they take all the air out of that big container there, then the feather and that bowling ball will fall at the same time. Let's see if we can prove gravity.
It takes 3 hours to pump out the 800,000 cubic feet of air from the chamber.
We dropped 2 millitorr in the last 30 minutes.
But once it's complete, there's a near perfect vacuum inside.
61, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Cameras on, 2, 1, release.
Look at that.
They came down exactly the same. Wow. Look how they hit it there.
Exactly.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Feathers don't move, nothing. Look at that. That's just brilliant.
Where would be a better of a gentleman named Gal? Well,
So let me stop right there for a second. So that absolutely proves there's gravity. And there's no getting around that. That experiment will happen the same way if you did it 1,000 times. So watch this. They went to Apollo 15, gravity experiment. They did this on the moon. You'll have people with conspiracy will say, well, they didn't go to the moon. Well, they went to the moon. And when they went to the moon, they did this experiment on the moon.
well, in my left hand I have a feather. In my right hand a hammer. I guess one of the reasons we got here today was because of a gentleman named Galileo a long time ago who made a rather significant discovery about falling objects in gravity fields. And we thought that where would be a better place to confirm his findings than on the moon. And so we thought we'd try it here for you. The feather happens to be appropriately a falcon feather for our falcon. And I'll drop the two of them here, and hopefully they'll hit the ground at the same time. How about that? Mr. Galileo was correct.
So how about that? They fell at the same time. Why? Because the moon is what? Where is it at? Man. Interesting. Buoyancy and Archimedes' principle. These are the formulas right here. And so we routinely hear people talk about buoyancy and density and this and that. But if you look at the actual formula, right, for buoyancy, okay, that they talking about, you'll see right here, you'll see FB, that's buoyancy force, okay? P is for fluid density. G is for acceleration due to gravity, and V is fluid volume. So, fluid volume. So right there, you have gravity in the daggone formula. How is that possible, ladies and gentlemen? Huh. Yeah. So I told you how sciences make you a walking contradiction on regular basis.
There are
That brings us to our conclusion. These are the references I can use.
Go back to those 3 slides. Those 3 slides were hot. Like finish.
Oh, that
Yeah,
I had
finish
to,
that.
I redid that. I think this was a. Let me see.
No,
What
go
was
back.
this?
Go back. Go back. Go back again.
Right here. Oh,
No,
the
go back.
aircraft modeling source.
No,
That
go back.
other way.
Yeah, right there where you are. Keep going back. Yeah. It was NASA. It was the NASA documents right there. That's where you were. And it was like 3 more slides. Go ahead, finish it.
Let me see. What was this?
There are scientists who think that the earth is flat. I can show you the technology that they made. Watch this. These are Air Force scientists and engineers that I'm about to show. Now let me find this document for you. 2.
That's nail in the coffin right there, man. That's nail in the coffin. Non-rotating Earth. All the planes say that shit. Facts.
And I can show you some more of them too. This is a NASA and Air Force document. They built the aircraft. It's a linear design aircraft. Listen, let's read it. This report documents the derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model for a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Why wouldn't you develop this technology to fly over a moving globe Earth? Because you would get them motherfuckers killed. That's why. When you dealing with these kind of contracts and these documents are no longer classified no more, we see the language they're using.
Okay, man. Pseudos do this over and over again. All right. So this is just a model, though, right? Makes it easier instead of trying to deal with the whole daggone quote unquote earth and that. They just make simple models. Okay. And so right here, when they talk about the NASA admits that the earth is flat, man, once again, it's just a bunch of pseudos trying to read NASA documents. Go figure that. It's just too much for us. Okay. Yeah, they little highlights say report documents definition of the linear aircraft model for the rigid aircraft constant mass flying over flat non-rotational Earth. Man, they just did a model for that, make it real simplified. And Doc, I know you understand this because you do that in engineering.
Right, they just
make
made
models.
Right.
Come on, man. So watch this. Let me give you the source. So linear aircraft models assume small changes or disturbance during straight and level flight conditions. It say in this constant, the flat Earth assumption simplifies the mathematical analysis of the aircraft's motion. It say the flat Earth model is a useful approximation when considering the aircraft's motion in relatively small regions of the atmosphere. Furthermore, for most aircraft, the effects of the Earth's curvature are relatively small over short distances. Therefore, a flat Earth assumption is often sufficient for modeling the aircraft's motion for practical purposes. Additionally, the rotation of the Earth is often ignored in linear aircraft's models because it is relatively slow and constant motion, and the aircraft velocity is typically more faster. They say, therefore, the effects of the Earth's rotation on aircraft motions are negligible for most practical purposes, and it is usually unnecessary to include them in a linear model. However, for more precise analysis of aircraft dynamics, such as those required for aircrafts or long-range ballistic missiles, a spherical Earth model with rotational effects may be necessary. So they messed up the whole thing. Now, why would NASA? See, this is what I always talk about, Doc. I say this all the time. I said, I said, Rizza Islam. This how you know he's in the middle of complete foolery. Whenever he tries to bring forth the CDC, we absolutely know that the CDC understands the safety of vaccines and clearly recommend vaccine science. Clear. So whenever a pseudo tries to use the CDC to debunk vaccines, you know they playing foolery. So whenever a pseudo tries to use NASA, who absolutely understands the size and shape of the earth, you know they done messed up. Man. Well, I tell you, look, aircraft modeling sources. So we got the sources. Aircraft Performance and Stable by Dr. Harris McClenrich, Chapter 2. You got Introduction to Aircraft Flight Mechanics by Thomas Unkut. 7, L. Morris and David Bursett. It says Introduction to Flight by John Anderson, Aircraft Dynamics from Modeling. Simulation by Marcelo R. What's this? Napolitano. Right. Here's some books on the subject. They just showing how they create the models. Yeah, he totally misrepresented the whole thing, and they was cheering. Whatever show he did, that's crazy. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, look. I find the whole thing to be wow. But that's including that's it, Doc.
All right, hold on. I got it. You can stop sharing your screen.
Fire! 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 Fire!
Dynamite presentation.
Fire! 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 Fire!
I didn't mean to drop it twice, but dynamite presentation on.
That was an hour. I was right at the hour. Did you need me to do a little more time?
No, you right at the hour. You're right at the hour. You did phenomenal. That's why I was like, no, keep going. Like, keep going. You got a couple of more slides. Keep going. But you were right at the hour mark, and it was a phenomenal presentation. I love how you defend and how you promote, you know what I mean, and advocate for science. And I love what you called yourself a while ago. You said I'm a science advocate, you know, and that's what you do. You advocate heavy, brother, for science. And I mean, everything that you had on here was right. It was right and exact. I'm looking at it and looking at this, and I'm like, damn, you were taking me back to like chemistry, physics, you know, like sitting in your class. I'm looking at the periodic table. I said, damn, he taking me back to, you know what I mean, the table of elements. He taking me back to chemistry, you know what I mean? And even physics, when you started talking about the forces and gravity and buoyancy and, you know, gravity, I think he said gravity acceleration. I was like, wow, like you're taking me all the way back. But brother, that's why that's why it pays to stay in school. I tell folks it pays to stay in school, and it pays to pay attention, you know, to your teachers, you know, to pay attention to your, you know, in your science classes and in your math classes. Like it pays to pay attention, man, because you get out here in the world, you know, other people, you know, people promoting this foolery, they wouldn't be able to fool you, you know, when you're literate, you know, they won't be able to fool you. So you said they were sitting there clapping when he said, look at the NASA documents. And no one thought to say, damn, brother, let me read these documents and let me see what it really says. And they say, hey, we will assume a flat earth for model purposes, right?
They didn't know it. They wouldn't understand that.
Yeah. Just to create a model. It makes the math easier when you make certain assumptions, right? Like, so like you said, in engineering, we do it all the time. We assume, like, so for example, when we're trying to build wireless communication systems, or even, you know, communication systems, analog communication systems or wireless communication systems. And let's suppose, you know, when we're measuring signal strength and things of that nature, when we assume noise, right? Because we say that when the signal is being transmitted from one destination to another, when we assume noise, for the sake of calculation, we assume that the noise has a Gaussian distribution. We don't know what the noise is going to have. We don't know the probability distribution characteristics of the noise. But because we want to make the math easier, right? We make the math easier. We will assume that noise has a Gaussian distribution, right? Like we'll call it white noise, or they'll say we'll assume AWGN, which is additive white Gaussian noise. You know, when we're trying to do some things, when we're building and modeling communication systems and things of that nature. So we make assumptions all the time. Even brother Ankh with the imaginary numbers, you know, there's no such thing as imaginary numbers in imaginary numbers or complex numbers in math. So complex numbers, right? These are numbers that have a real and imaginary part. Sometimes we assume that we assume or we utilize complex numbers in the math because we say it makes it easier. So scientists and engineers and mathematicians, we understand that, right? So when you pull out the documents, oh yeah, it was just a model. I'm like, oh, I get that, you know. But folks that lack scientific literacy, and even I would go ahead and say reading comprehension, right? Because even if you lack scientific literacy and you can damn read and comprehend, soon as they said we are assuming a model, somebody should have known. So anyway, people should have known. So that just goes to show you, Brother Ankh, that a lot of people, they really lack those skills, you know, reading comprehension, listening comprehension, critical thinking. They lack these skills. And that's why folks, or you always say pseudo, but that's why, you know, pseudoscience is pervasive in our community because the literacy rate is high in our community. So that's why the pseudoscience, I guarantee, Brother Ankh, if somebody measured it, they would see a strong correlation with the pseudoscience that permeates our community and the literacy rate, right? The more illiterate folks you have, the more victims you have to pseudoscience. I want to say that one more time. The higher the illiteracy rate or the literacy, the higher, you know, people will be susceptible to pseudoscience, believing pseudoscience, promoting pseudoscience, circulating pseudoscience. So anyway, Brother Ankh, I just dropped the link in the chat. Does anyone want to come in? Does anyone want to come in at this time and ask Brother Ankh a question? Does anyone want to come in and ask Brother Ankh a question? I actually have a question for you, Brother Ankh, because I was looking it up in your presentation. When you said the ancient Egyptians created or measured the circumference of the earth, they estimated it. I was looking at the gentleman's name. It started with the E. I don't want to butcher it, Esther or something, but it said that he was a Greek in ancient Egypt. He was there, and this is during the 3rd century, and that he was the one responsible. So they said it was a Greek who was residing in Egypt. I don't know what he was in Egypt for.
He was going to school in there. He was going to school in Egypt.
He was going to school in Egypt. Okay.
Yeah, he was going
and
to
so they
school in
said he was the one that estimated the circumference of the earth. So it wasn't ancient Egyptians, like it wasn't.
No, but they was in Egypt though. But that's important. That's where the learning was. That's what a lot of the learning was in Egypt. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So why not Palestine? Why they ain't go do it in Palestine?
Right.
You know, what schools? What schools in Palestine during this time? None.
Right. None at this time.
So,
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure.
Remember, geography and stuff like that is what the Egyptians was actually teaching. Geometry, they teaching that. So those schools, all that stuff is going to be in Africa during that time period. So that's still, I mean, that's important. So you
absolutely.
So you would never say. So let's say, for instance, say a German come over to Americas and he figure out something. What you gonna say? You gonna say it's an American thing, ain't you?
Yeah, we probably.
I mean, and how it work, you got plenty of right. You don't get the credit for it.
Okay, regular Joe. I'm not going to pronounce your last name. You said explain the moon phases. What causes a full moon? Won't you just click the link and come on in, regular Joe? Click the link and come on in. Click the link and come on in. You don't have to ask. You don't have to ask questions from the chat. I dropped the link in the chat.
He want me to explain the moon phases. What do you mean?
This is what he said. Hold on. I put his comment on the screen.
He trying to say is
the link is in the chat, brother. Click the link and come on in. The Queen Mother said the link is in the chat. She said, if y'all feel that way, the Queen Mother, a beautiful mind. Shout out to the Queen Mother. She said, click the link and go on live since y'all feel that way. Right. You gotta throw rocks in the I see some flat earthers. They in the building, Ankh. They coming, they gunning for you now. Look at this. Flat Earth Society 360 said, why can't y'all globers fly over the North Pole? Oh man, Flat Earther, click the link. Come on, let's have some fun. Click the link for me, please. I need a good laugh. I need a good laugh, Ankh. I need a good laugh tonight. Flat Earth Society 360. Come on in, Flat Earth.
Why can't you
come on, Flat Earth
thing? And you know, Flat I got parts of my presentation. Like, really?
Yeah, Flat Earth, come on in. Look at a beautiful mind. The Queen Mother, like, where the question marks at? Everybody want to throw rocks in the chat, in the chat room, though. So it says, Dr. Oyamaya, do you still have the presentation you did years ago on how the pyramids were built? You need to upload that on YouTube again. Yeah, it's out there. All you got to do is type in the evolution of mathematics and its applications. So it's still on YouTube, brother. It's still on YouTube. It's still on YouTube. Family, click the link and come on in. I want to see the Flat Earth 360. He 360, not 365, 360. But I guess the 360, anyway. Anyway, the 360. So Flat Earth 360, go figure. Flat Earth 360, go figure. I hear you, Flat Earth. Come on in. I just dropped the link, Flat Earth. Come on in. Come on in. I just dropped the link. If not, I'm going to let Brother Ankh go. I'm opening it up for question Q&A at this point. Q&A at this point. If you're feeling froggy, leap. See, Brother Ankh, you and I cut up so much, people be so scared.
They don't want it.
Yeah, they don't.
You know
They
what's
got,
funny though?
They got their
I would like-
opportunity right now, but
I would like to make this point here. In our community, we do not do enough of this. If you ask a person a question, just say, for example, this community will answer the daggone question no matter what. Whether they know it or not, they just make up something to sound good. And you know we hear that all the time. I forget we was having a conversation, and it was polite, I believe. He was acting like he understood something he was trying to explain was the 5G. He was like, ain't no way in the world. You went and got the professor. I forgot who you went and got. Forget which doctor it was.
I think it was Dr. Ryan. I think it was Dr. Dante Ryan.
Yeah. When in fact, right, whenever you deal with experts, you will routinely hear them say, well, I don't know that.
Yep.
That's wild. Like they have explanations, simple explanations. When they don't know something, they say, well, I don't know that.
Yeah, remember, I had told you, I had shared with you that's and you had mentioned that you noticed that about Dr. Ryan when he came on the platform. And I was like, yeah, I said when we're trained in the academy, they tell us, like, if you don't know, just say you don't know, and I'll get back to you, or say this is beyond the scope of my research. But don't sit there and make up shit. You know what I mean? Like, don't sit there, because now you sound stupid, like trying to make up something. Just say you don't know, and it's okay. But when people are led by their ego, they don't want to admit that they don't know, and it's okay. No one knows everything. You never reach the pinnacle of knowledge, right? There's no pinnacle of knowledge where you know everything, right? There's a quote that Baba Olatunji, he always says that Ptah had uttered. And it talked about, not being, arrogant, in your knowledge. And hold on, let me look for it. You probably know what it is, Brother Ankh. I keep forgetting it. I keep saying that I'm gonna memorize it, but I'm looking for it.
Oh, you know what I didn't show, Doc? What I did want to show?
Yeah, I'm trying to look for it. Where is it? The family, tell me out in the chat, because I can share it really quickly. But it's a quote by Ptah. And you can share your screen, Brother Ankh, if you need to. Oh, where is it? Where is it? I need to memorize this. This goes in the character. Let me see. Ptah. Let me search my phone. Ptah. All right, let me get out my phone. Ptah. You sharing it, Brother Ankh?
Yeah, I'm sharing it. You got to show it up. So basically, what I did in that conversation was I showed different probes and stuff that actually took pictures of these heavenly bodies. And I want to kind of show y'all the same thing here. Okay, well, y'all know that's the sun. The sun photographed on 8th of May, 2019 in white light, true color. Sunspots, AR2740. Y'all can actually type it in there and find that. And AR2741. Some other interesting features include what's this? This is faculae, white spots near AR2741, and limb darkening and tiny conviction. And let me move on to the next thing. Watch this. So they actually got pictures. Okay, Mercury. Okay. This is a cropped bottom right image from the original 4-image mosaic P1A 1136-4. Mercury's true color is in the eye of the beholder. Original caption released with the image. Given the whack ability to take images through 11 narrow band color filters. Actual picture. All right. WAC. Okay. No way around that. Okay. So where's the picture of the flat earth? All right. So we move on. Venus. The Messenger spacecraft snapped a series of images as it approached Venus on June 5th. There you go. Messenger dual imaging system. That's it. It's a real picture of it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. You know, ain't nobody gonna show you no flat Earth. Okay.
Not at
Full
all.
disk view of Earth. All right, that's Earth.
Oh, brother Ankh, those pictures are fake. What you talking about, brother
Yeah,
Ankh?
I know they was.
Those pictures are fake, man. They never made it out of. What's that lay everybody say? You never made it out of. I forgot that crap that people always say. You never made.
Van Allen belt.
Yeah, you never made it out. So
Yeah,
that's
they stupid. Well,
yeah, that's
these probes did. Full disk view of the Earth taken on December 7th, 1972 by a crew of Apollo 17 spacecraft en route to the moon at a distance of about 29,000 kilometers.
Check this out, Unc. You know what I'm gonna do for those folks that said we never made it out? I'm gonna out of the Earth atmosphere. I'm gonna bring on one of my mentees. I mentored him when he was an undergraduate at Morgan. He was an undergraduate. I was a graduate student. He now works for Lockheed Martin, which is a defense contractor. And he actually his team of engineers, they create the circuits that they put on the rockets. Right now, Lockheed Martin is doing missions like to Mars, rockets and missions going to Mars, and so his team is responsible for designing and producing the electrical circuits for those rockets. And so I'm going to bring him on to talk about that whole notion of, well, where do these rockets go, right? If they don't make it out of the atmosphere, right? Where do they go? So bring him on, to talk about the work, that's being done. And so that quote, I found it, and thank you so much, Ankh, for sharing that. I found the quote, family. And the quote says this by Ptah: "Be not arrogant because of your knowledge. Seek counsel from the ignorant as well as the wise." He said, "For the limits of knowledge in any field had never been set, and no one has ever reached them." So no one knows everything, right? No one knows everything. So to be arrogant is to be foolish. Let me say that again. No one knows everything, family. So to be arrogant in the little bit that you think you know is very foolish. All right. And so we do have a flat earther, Ankh, who's in the building. So you can stop sharing your screen. I'm going to bring him on. Brother I think he says regular Joe. He's on the air. Brother Regular Joe, you have the floor, brother.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
he's not a flat earther.
Oh, he's not a half flat
I'm
earther.
not
Okay.
I'm not a flat earther.
Oh,
That's
okay,
crazy.
okay. My bad. I thought this was a flat earther. Okay, my bad.
Nah, I was all right. So last night it's around 8 o'clock, right before the sun going down, and I'm staring up, and I see the sun up in the sky, and I see the moon up in the sky, and I see the moon is like on that phase where it's like almost full, and I'm staring at it, and I'm like, I don't really understand what I'm staring at, because I thought it was like a shadow cast on the earth that causes the moon phases, but clearly that what I was looking at wasn't a shadow. So I'm like, all right, I mean, I never really studied the moon phases or nothing like that. So I figured while y'all was on here talking this, I posed the question because I truly don't understand what I was looking at, like as far as the moon phases go.
So, well, the moon phases is actually caused by the changing position of like the moon and the earth, and the sun. That's basically how these phases are actually occurred, and then the illuminating of the, the sun, the illuminating of the moon. I think what it goes around the earth in different parts is illuminated by the sun. I know that's the basics of it. As a matter of fact, we
So it has
have
nothing to do with a shadow. It's
well,
about the
it says
position of the
different parts of it
reflection.
being illuminated. Different parts of it, is illuminated by the sun. Different parts
Yeah,
of it, I could actually show you. Let me see if I could.
yeah. Show me, cause
Let
I
me see
don't
if I
get
can
it.
show
Cause
you.
I stared at it for like 10 minutes trying to
And then
understand
we
what I
got
was
like a
looking at.
class. We shout out to brother Anthony, Space Age African. We got a whole astronomy club, and he gets all the way into all that. That's what he do. I can give you the basic of it,
What's
but he
that? Is
actually
that a
goes
channel?
into
Is
it.
that a channel? Space
Well,
Age
on the
African?
pseudo killers, no, but it's on the pseudo killers. Well, the
Oh,
astronomy club. All you need, if you can see in my background, you see I got a telescope. Can you see it? Okay, see.
yeah.
Yeah, so we gotta see that. See on top of my head? See? So we look at the heavenly bodies right there, right? And you can, we do stuff. So maybe you want us to just do a quick presentation on understanding the moon and how it actually
Yeah,
works. He got
that
all that down. That's what he do. Go ahead. What was you gonna say, bro?
yeah. So yeah, y'all can do that on the pseudo killers. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, we could definitely do that on the pseudo killers. And a good place to start before you get into the class is go to the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? Or go to I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna put a source in the back for you. Watch this. NASA space. Look, something simple. Watch this.
What, in the back chat?
Yeah, we'll put it in there for you. Look, hold on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna share the screen. And look. That's our kids. Look. So you see the moon, right? It says,
Nah, your screen ain't showing.
oh, you gotta share the screen, Doc.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. Okay, there we go.
It said the moon appears to be more than one half, but not fully illuminated by direct sunlight. The fraction of the moon's disk that is illuminated is decreasing. So look, first quarter, waxing crescent. The moon appears to be partly, but less than
So
one
that's
half illuminated. See?
all right. So that's not the Earth shadow. See, I was under the impression like that crescent part you showing right there, where it looked like a banana a little. That I thought that was the Earth shadow, and that's why I was like, that's what I thought my whole life.
Illuminated by
And
direct
I was
sunlight.
staring
See?
at it last night, and I was like, that's not the Earth shadow.
No. See?
So that's
Remember I
like
talked about the sunlight
this
direct?
angle that it's hitting it at.
That's the sun hitting it.
Yeah.
They say that the moon is not a light, but it's that sun
Nah.
illuminating. The fraction of the moon's disk that is illuminated decreases. See? But see, this is a good site right here. So we always like to have direct tools to kind of like, you know what I'm saying, to kind of get us where we need to go. And you can actually read this. So I'm gonna put this in a thing for you. You can look at it. It's gonna give you a good understanding of it, man. Real basic, man. I always tell people, just small things like that will help you kind of understand. Let me see. I'm putting in the back chat. Let me see. Private chat. But for me, it helped me by watching that, by being able to move the actual the model right
Telescope.
here. Yeah, just right here. Look, and you read
Oh
it.
yeah.
The
That
moon's
tool.
illuminated side facing the earth. The moon is not visible except during the solar eclipse. See, look at that. Boom. Waxing crescent. In each phase, you can explain it. First quarter. Then they give you more on it if you need. All right. See that?
Word.
Yeah, so that's sir. Yeah, you know we got all the tools right here, man, to get you all the way in there, man. We ain't gonna leave you. Yeah, we ain't gonna just leave you out there.
All right, man.
All right.
I appreciate that.
See, now you can read that, and now you're gonna know what you're looking at.
Yeah, I just copied that link.
There you go. Right in the game. Easy, simple. So you thought it was the planet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought, look, and I thought I thought he was the flat earth 360. I thought he was with that guy, but he was genuinely like, yo, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm looking at here. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate that. I appreciate that, brother, because I actually learned something from listening to, just from hearing his question and listening to your response. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate the brother coming on. So thank you so much, brother Regular Joe, for coming on with your question. And
that's
brother
a good
Ankh,
dude right there.
Much. Yeah, he seems like it.
No
He
problem.
seems
I appreciate it.
Yeah, he seems like it. All right, peace and love to you, brother. All right, hey, Ankh, look, I just want to encourage the folks one more time to send an appreciation donation to brother Ankh. Did anybody besides me, brother Ankh, contribute?
Yeah, he did. Show some
I
love.
appreciate them. I appreciate them. Come on, family. Let's show them some love. I'm going to drop the link in the chat again. Let's show brother Ankh some love. Let's practice Ma'at. Ma'at is reciprocity. He gave us some stuff tonight, gave us a lot of information tonight. So let's make sure, family, that we show him some love. Let's make sure that we practice Ma'at. Let's practice reciprocity. Send an appreciation donation to brother Ankh at $Ankaket. So that's A as in apple, N as in Nancy, K as in key, H as in house, K as in key, A as in apple, K as in key, E as in echo, K as in key again. So Ankaket. All right. So family, make sure that you send a love donation, that you send an appreciation donation for his energy, his time, his wisdom, his work. All right. And brother, we appreciate you for sliding through. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow, family. Make sure that you're in the building. Let me show the flyer before we get out of here. Make sure.
That's the one.
Yeah, make sure. I like this flyer, Ankh. I think Harvey did a good job.
Let me see what Harvey got going on. He had my head messed up.
And I saw it. The first time I did see it, and I was like, what is this? And he started laughing. He was like, yeah, I did mess that up. And you caught it. I didn't catch it. I was like, all right, I'm going to post it. You was like, He was like, my head don't look like that. Remember, he had it kind of slow. He shaped you up right here, brother Ankh, because he was trying to get it underneath the. So he had it looking crazy, but it's cool now, brother Ankh. It's cool now.
Yeah, it's fair for a square. I'm just my real head.
Well, you know what? Why you gotta show the perfect round? Why you gonna make sure everybody know that it's perfectly round, brother?
It ain't perfect.
I'm gonna show the real one. I don't
my real hair. I don't want you to get me mixed up with nobody. Like I don't gotta always wear a hat.
No doubt. So, family, make sure that you're in the building tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brother Ankh is going to be discussing evolution. And he's been, I learned a lot about evolution, just, listening to him and reading books that he recommended and things of that nature. So, family, join next week. Join tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as Brother Ankh will be discussing evolution, the key to understanding our origins. So everybody say, where did we come from? Right? Well, if we study evolution, you would know. So, family, make sure that you're in the building tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brother Ankh, do you have any closing words for the listening audience?
Yeah, that one. I appreciate everybody's support. I actually appreciate the Cash Apps, and I appreciate that donation right there, dr.maat.msu, and that stay real. And you stay real. I got you back all the way through.
Always appreciate you.
You up the level of the community. That's why I felt it essential for you to be in the community, be on the Amara squad. I appreciate that. And I knew you was going to be a game changer. Yeah, absolutely that, man. Y'all need to go on Facebook, go on my Facebook post and look what I posted. The sisters definitely engaged in having these camps for these sisters, these young sisters. And earlier you talked about the value of being literate, scientifically literate, because it means a lot. It helps towards your civic duties. Most people don't even know that. What is your civic duty as an African American, a Black American? You don't understand it if you're not literate. Scientific literacy absolutely helps that, right? We know for a fact that 80% of the people, 80 to 90% of the people in the juvenile detention system, right, are illiterate. That's 80% of them, 80 to 90% of them. That's a lot. And so the camps that you're holding will make sure that none of those sisters will be illiterate and find themselves in the penal system.
Ashe.
Right? And so I just like to thank you, right? And tomorrow is going to be counterintuitive. Most of us has been raised in a religious environment, and you just won't understand it. But just hold tight. I actually wrote a book. All right, wrote a book. Okay, the basics. It's my favorite subject because it's actually the start of African history. Evolution, biological, human evolution is the start of African history. So if you truly want to understand African history, then you're absolutely not going to find it in the biblical text, because these fossils will absolutely prove to you that they predate the Quran, the Bible, and everything in it.
That's right.
And I say this to be perfect. I want to be. I do it on purpose.
Right.
Okay. Purposeful. Right. I have to be, because you actually predate their God.
Come on.
And you should just kind of think about that for a minute. How is it possible for African people to predate the monotheistic religions? Not only monotheistic religions, but religions, period. And so that's why I'm purposeful in presenting this material right here, because evolution chronology of human evolution is actually chronology of African history. And so you can't truly understand African history of who you are, where you come from. Where is your place in the world? See, that's the big question. Where does our place in this world? Where's our place in the cosmos? Human beings since eons seek to know that answer. Is it in Palestine, Judea? Right? Is it in the Garden of Eden? Is it in India? Is it in North America? Did we start in North America? All these things, these questions will be answered tomorrow. Appreciate you. And you know what it is. It's going to be hot tomorrow.
Yes, it's going to be off the chain. And family, my last announcement, make sure that you get your babies in the UACI STEM camp. We're going to be talking about the African contributions to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And your child will be exposed to cybersecurity concepts, IoT devices, right? Hacking, hashing, encoding, decoding, encryption, and decryption. And then also followed by hands-on activities with the microbit. So your child also be learning coding concepts. And then we're going to get into artificial intelligence and machine learning. By the end of the camp, your child will be able to build a neural network. Your child will be able to build an intelligent assistant. Your child will be able to collect data, clean data, analyze data, and display data. And so it's going to be off the chain. So family, make sure that I dropped the link in the chat, and I will show you what the website looks like really quickly. All right. This is what the website looks like really quickly. I already dropped the link in the chat. The program starts on July the 10th. After Monday, we're not taking any more people. I'm going to say that again. After Monday, we're not accepting any more people. Why? Because the camp starts on the 10th. This Monday is the 3rd. This Monday and Tuesday, we're going to be shipping out Google Chromebooks, a Google Chromebook, a microbit mini computer, right, will be sent to your child, and a T-shirt and other equipment that your child will need to complete the camp. And so I'm not going to wait until the end of the week to start sending this stuff out. I'm going to send it out at the beginning of the week, make sure that your child has everything to rock and roll, and then we're starting on Monday. All right. And so after Monday, we're not taking anyone else. So make sure that you enroll your child ASAP. I've dropped the link in the chat. Brother Ankh, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I would like to shout out to the pseudo killers that actually helped me put that presentation together. Shout out to Sirius B. Shout out to Brother Kent. Shout out to Sister Tiffany, Sister Juju, and all the pseudo killers. And I just appreciate that. It was a certified effort to actually bring that material together. Kent, Vance, Cedric, just the whole team, man. It was a team effort to bring that clarity there. And you always ring in my head, do not put a lot of words on the screen. That is not how you do that. You will not be able to teach my class with wording yourself to death. That's
Yeah,
just
per-
funny to me, man. You know, I
No,
see
I
people
know,
all the
no.
words on it.
Yeah,
You
they
should
did.
know
They
your
put the whole
maturity.
yeah, you should know it. You should
You
know it
should know
enough.
your maturity.
Yeah, yeah.
And you
know,
say it 100
do it.
times, Brother Uncle, you're not gonna. Okay,
Like, don't read the whole paragraph.
don't be that. Don't have all the words on there. They call it death by PowerPoint.
I didn't. Why death by PowerPoint? I don't, Brother Unc. My students will tell you, I
PowerPoint
come in there,
yourself to death.
I come in there, Brother Unc. I lecture for 15 minutes and then we problem solve. And my students will tell you, I don't do hour and 50 lectures. I do 15 minutes, I nail it, we problem solve. And so anyway, Brother Unc, but I do appreciate, your time and your energy. Like I said, I learned a whole lot. Jalen and Chase will definitely be watching this presentation and taking notes and just in learning something, right? Because they're on the internet and I'm pretty sure they're inundated with this pseudoscience that people are circulating. So we got to make sure that we arm our babies with this information. So family, make sure not only that you watch this information, sit down with your children, have your children watch this information, even if they have to watch it in chunks. That's what I do with my 13-year-old and with my nephew Chase. Sometimes they watch it in 20-minute, 30-minute chunks. Right. And then we have a conversation about it. So make sure, family, that you share this discussion mainly with your family first, right? Then with the community on your social media pages. Also, family, thumb up this video. Thumb up the video. And lastly, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, head on over to dr.maat.msu on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so that whenever I go live, you will be notified. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace and Black Power.